So I am still not yet done with my thoughts on the recently concluded Miss World pageant. I am grateful that some of you were able to watch my live interview with Gwen Ferniol's trainer, Sir Mark Ligachalian, last night to give us a deep insight and perspective about how Gwen prepared for the actual competition. There were so many stories that he shared to me after the interview, and it really pains me to hear all those. Yes, I agree with some of your comments in the comment section. Hindi talaga siya bet ng organization, and the truth really hurts. But moving forward, I am still a good sport, and I still stayed up late to watch the show till the very end. So here I am doing another content about the finals, but this time around with emphasis on the 4 finalists Q&A. Part of the reason why I am doing this content is because I am just so happy that Czech Republic won the pageant, kasi she is my ultimate favorite to win, even though I did not make any content about my leaderboard assessment, about my final picks, kasi she was really my top bet, because I got to meet her in person here in Manila last December, and she really looked like a Diyosa in person. And what's more amazing is that she has a very kind and humble personality, and I'm glad Julia saw the same qualities that the Filipino pageant media like me had seen when she was here. I know we may have so many rants and misgivings about the production and even the format of the finals, but one thing is for sure, Julia Morley would like to get to know the girls deeply with their respective Q&As. Hence, I would like to think that Miss World is the most intellectual pageant in the pageant landscape right now, because Julia really loves girls who are good public speakers coming from diverse backgrounds. This, apart from the fact that her pageant is the only major pageant in the world which does not have a swimsuit and evening gown competition. So, emphasis lang talaga is just on the preliminary interviews and the ones on stage. And having a penchant for public speakers, you would expect Julia to ask them hard-hitting questions on stage. But no, diba? Most of the questions during the top 8 and top 4 rounds were very light. So the girls' personalities shown in their respective answers. And also, if you think about it, the easiest questions could be the hardest questions to answer, diba? So, with that said, let's now talk about the top 4 final pitch and relate it to how Julia must have picked the eventual winner and her lone runner-up. The final pitch is all about convincing Shark Tank India through their purpose for the Miss World platform. So let's start with Miss Trinidad and Tobago, Ache Abraham. So this was her speech during the final round. Okay, she talked about offering the mindset of her nation, which is equality among the race, which is may every creed in the race find an equal place. So, nung narinig ko to, when I heard her answer, I felt her authenticity right away. She was very sweet and humble and paid homage to her beautiful country, her beautiful sweet TNT, by being more compassionate and understanding of our differences for a brighter future. For me, she really sounded very confident and humble in her speech. It was definitely a beautiful one. However, if there is something that I would like to nitpick about her speech, is that she could have made it more personable by relating it to her work as a mental health advocate so far, and a social activist as well. She could have given concrete examples of her body of work so far as an activist for the judging panel to get a clear perspective of her reign should she be the next Miss World. And I think that was the only missing element in her speech. Now, let's go to Miss Botswana Lesego Chombo's speech, and this is the transcript of her speech. Thank you, and good evening, everyone. I believe that I should be the next Miss World because I am the true essence of beauty with a purpose. For as long as I can remember, I've always used my skills, my passion, my talent, my intellect, and my love to uplift the lives of those around me. I've done so many through my Genesis project, which levels the playing field for children living in poverty. I use my legal expertise to offer legal solutions to those who cannot afford them. And each and every day, I share love and kindness. But most importantly, I love this platform. I love it my whole heart. And I aspire to see where beauty with a purpose is not just a Miss World concept, but where each and every person uses that quality that makes them beautiful to uplift the lives of those around them. And I know that I can't do it alone. And as Julia Morley says, is it not better to light one candle than not to see in darkness? I aspire to be the driving force that inspires the world to light their own candles. Thank you. So, wow, what a beautiful speech as well. It's so poignant. Kung papakinggan nyo, it's also very poignant and captivating. What makes the speech, I reckon, an extra standout in my opinion is her delivery. The quality of her voice tone is so rich and borderlining raspy, which makes it so distinctive to hear. At the first two sentences of her speech, she already went direct to her point by saying that she is the true essence of the pageant's Beauty with a Purpose program, which I feel is very clever given that she was able to insert the pageant slogan there. She also gave concrete examples of what she can do if elected Miss World by using her legal profession to uplift the lives of her community. And I thought again, she did her homework there. But somehow, at the same time, hearing her entire speech there were so many references to herself in the entire speech, which I feel must have overwhelmed the judges at some point. And as I have said earlier, she has already referenced herself right away at the first two sentences of her speech by saying being the true essence of the BWAP. Since she wanted to say so many things in her speech, it definitely became all over the place. Like, ang dami niya yung sinabi doon. Like, I love it, my whole heart, I aspire to be the driving force. And she also inserted another famous line of Julia about lighting candles in darkness that I feel it became too much to bear already for a listener like me. It became overwhelming already in the final stretch of her speech. So it became a bit muddled. And there was nothing that she offered new as she kept expanding her answer. And so for me, she could have discarded, that lighting candle in the dark sentence because she already made her points across at the start of her speech. I reckon the lighting candle in the dark, despite its inspiring message, is a bit redundant or overused already, thereby lacking freshness in thought, if you know what I mean. So it is where at this point I feel she was really trying hard to please Julia to give her the crown. But the strategy backfired because she did not win. Now, contrast this to Miss Czech Republic's Krystyna Psyzkova's speech. And this is her speech. Dear Shark Tank, I want you to imagine one thing. I imagine that you are a child and you have your dreams and your hopes. But as you grow older, your dreams are going further and further away. Now, imagine that you are a parent and your child needs to go through the same situation, having a dream. But while growing up, the dream is going further and further, and that's because the children don't get the proper education to fulfill their dream career. As of 2024, it's still a fact that 250 million children are out of school worldwide. And that's why my lifelong mission is to provide quality education to underprivileged children. I believe that education is a fundamental right every child deserves, and I am here to advocate for those children. It's something that I have been doing for a very long time, much before I entered pageantry. It is something that is really close to my heart, and what I'll be doing either I win or I don't win Miss World. Wow. Diba? Wow. Very heartfelt. If you notice, just by listening to her speech, it was a very simple one. So simple that you could even fault her entire speech for its structure. But what she lacked in structure, I figure, Miss Czech Republic more than made it up with her charm in delivery. She struck you as very charismatic, simple, and very humble. She presented a visual story about education which exercised our imagination or creativity, and at the same time inserted facts, statistics or data that supported her claim of hundreds of millions of school children being out of school youth. So, napansin nyo, she appealed to us through her heart and sincerity by even saying that it's her lifelong mission to provide quality education among children, and she will keep doing it regardless whether she wins or not. And I thought that was very sweet, humble, and very endearing. Her speech, kung pakikinggan nyo talaga, was full of heart. It had focus, which was all about the children and what she can do. It focused, in other words, it focused on her BWAP project, in short. So, although she may have failed to articulate by giving concrete examples as to how she will do it, how she will implement her program, but her charm and simplicity in her delivery resonated more with the judges. In other words, she wasn't overbearing to hear. So this is also the same thing I feel about Lebanon's Yasmina Zaitoun, who was also very humble but at the same time persuasive in all her speeches throughout the finals. She says, diba? Sabi niya dito sa speech niya, I see Miss World as a very strong, confident woman, but most importantly, a woman with a purpose. Born and raised in Lebanon, I have learned how to spread love where I go, how to have respect, and how to rise after every failure, because even the biggest non-nuclear explosion in the history could not stop us from dreaming and achieving. So that's why I want to share with the whole world the resilience, love, respect, and compassion. So to everyone listening to me right now, I just want to say thank you, Lebanon, for teaching me how to be a Miss World. Thank you. So, again, wow. So again, wow. Just like Czech Republic's answer, her speech is loaded with heart and simplicity. Instead of going the typical route of saying why she should be picked as the next Miss World, she enumerated the qualities of what a Miss World should be instead and gave it all back to her country for making her develop those traits of a Miss World title holder. So napansin nyo, she was very relatable and selfless here. She was not afraid to showcase her vulnerability and did not come across as very too eager to please. She was very real and authentic. No sugarcoating talaga yung speech niya. She appealed to the heart of the judges talaga. Hence, I do get why Czech Republic and Lebanon won, because they appealed to our hearts and senses. I've been noticing this trend in world pageantry lately. It is no longer who comes out with the most intellectual or grammatically correct answer, but it's someone who is sincere and full of heart with her answers regardless of grammar or language. Miss Botswana may have the intellectual answer, but Miss Czech Republic gave the most heartful answer among the four. Granted, Miss Czech Republic isn't a proficient English speaker, but she captured the imagination of the judges by visual storytelling that tug the heartstrings of the judges, diba? So she effectively sold her story, and the Indian judges, who are all deep thinkers and philosophical in their own right, bought it. And now she has millions of people who will be willing to listen to her story. So you see, guys, do you now get my point? It's no longer about this, but it's all about this instead. The heart of a candidate on the way she comes out with her answers is what the judges are looking for nowadays. So, tama kayo. Times are changing in the beauty landscape now. We may not have seen it before, but as I think about it now, Olivia Copo's personable answer over Janine's, Megan's answer in Miss World 2013, Ecuador's simple answer over Pauline's in Miss Supranational, and now, pageant organizers are looking for a more personable and relatable queen than an intellectual one.